Good morning. As you can see, this is not my usual morning hair, but I woke up and I had forgotten to take my earrings out last night when I went to sleep, so I was like, roll with it, let's just do it all up. August 10th. Love thy neighbor as thyself. If everyone followed this command from Scripture, the world would be a much safer, more nurturing place to live. The systems that create devastating self-esteem in so many of us would cease to exist. Yet this imperative rests on the assumption that most people do love themselves. By nature, most people tend to look at their own survival first. We learn how to protect ourselves, but that doesn't mean that most people learn to actually love, respect, and honor who they are. How well can we love our neighbors when we're not at all sure that we deserve to be loved? What if we feel we have no rights, that our feelings don't count, that we are only as good as our work, that everything we do must be perfect, or that we are just basically unworthy human beings? If such thoughts and convictions are our starting point, what kind of love can we offer our neighbors? If I would truly love others, I must first learn to love myself. If I would truly love others, I must first learn to love myself. This is something that I am in the process of getting back into. I think left alone, it's inherent in most children to love themselves. And I remember as a child loving myself, but I lived a very sheltered childhood. And then when my family moved and we spent more time in public or going to public schooling, meeting other kids, it got chipped away until all I had left was like this little core of who I was, and I kept it close to myself and I protected myself as much as I could. And over the years, the shrinking inwards, the surviving, protecting myself became a form of self-love. That can be self-love in traumatic situations. But sometimes I feel like we all do that, and we become so accustomed to protecting ourselves and survival as a form of self-love that we miss out on the more wonderful aspects of life that can be had by leaving our protective bubbles, leaving survival situations, leaving situations meant for security, meant for convenience, right? And that's where I'm at. I was in a position where I kept myself in an unhappy place because it was familiar and because I knew that I would, even if I wasn't always immediately safe in the moment, I had already figured out how that situation worked. I could survive that situation. I would be fine. And then I had my son, and it was for the love of him that I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna have to grow. I'm gonna have to change, I'm gonna have to do something because I can guarantee my own safety, but I can't guarantee his. I was like, well, shit. So, I changed my life. I changed the circumstances of my surroundings. And then I found that I had forgotten how to love myself in the expansive version as opposed to the tiny version. Like, that core was always there. Caroline will always love Caroline. You'll have to take my word for it, but this experience, no matter how traumatic or horrible it's been in times, doesn't really suck. Being me is pretty great. If only because I enjoy me so much. But now, I'm at a stage where I am moving from one place to a different place in life, different stages of life. And I'm still holding on in some ways to things that are familiar because they keep me secure even though they don't make me happy and they don't make me feel loved. And I am also learning how to let go of those things in ways that don't make me feel scared or unsafe. And in the process of doing all of that, and in the process of remembering how to love myself in the expansive as opposed to the minute, I am moving into a state of self-love. Self-love is not a destination. It's a state of being, and being in a place where you can make choices that you know, whether they're popular choice or not, will lead to your happiest outcome, your brightest possible future. If I would truly love others, I must first learn to love myself. I've been taking a break from the emotional labor of new relationships. Not really into creating situations of half love. Half love, half convenience, half love, half security. Or like one third. One third of each. 1/3 love, 1/3 security, 1/3, survival or protection or convenience. I want all of it. And what that means is getting in touch with all of me and loving all of me, even the ugly pieces, which I'm fond of those too. For a while, they were some of my favorite. The ugly bits were some of my favorite parts of myself because those were the parts that kept me safe and alive, and I was very happy to have them. I'll read it again. If I would truly love others, I must first learn to love myself. It's legit. And it's a process. And it's a state of being that I'm becoming more accustomed to. Have a good morning.